probably the end of song 2 here. We're going to do 3 conflict challenges. So here's our little art of the grubwood as a reminder. We are partway through, coming in from the east side. We have done 3 exploration challenges in here. They've been pretty uneventful. The first one was finding a menhir, which was kind of interesting. It's a permanent event, but I failed to activate it. Second one was a little bit more interesting. I had a tree sort of limb sprout from my chest and had to resist terror from that. And then the last one, I almost got a major treasure, even despite drawing a 10. I did not succeed at that challenge. So I'm still of multiple minds about that. I asked a question on the Discord to see if there was any sort of exploration of using 10s as criticals or something like that, but I'm not sure. It might also just be the case I'm on song 2, so I'm pretty early in my journey. I could have chosen to raise, for example, perception in the last time I leveled up. Unfortunately, I chose communication, which has basically no applicability here in the grubwood where there's no other humans, but oh well. So let's continue. We might get a combat. We might just have some different narrative events. So I'm going to move here to the, what is this, the east, and reveal the card. And it is, you'll find out just as I do, the 7 of Cups. There's some art. So that is not a combat. It has to be a face card to have a combat, but this will be some kind of conflict. So let's see what the 7 of Cups is in the grubwood. Confrontation. So Cups is the first column. 7 is a group of mutated creatures. Okay, this is going to be great. A group of mutated creatures, once animals, now stalk the forest, and they drool acidic saliva. So that doesn't sound good. Actually, one of the things I want to ask here is, like, you know, these are all interesting in terms of thematics. I mean, maybe I could just come up with a different story depending on this, but I'm not sure if any of these have, you know, different skill effects. I mean, like this one, they attack silently. Maybe that would involve my perception more than anything else. But they drool acidic saliva versus like their body is covered in plants. Okay. It's thematically different, but I'm not sure if it would change the skill check involved. I mean, this is probably going to be some kind of combat or, you know, conflict. It's a group of mutated creatures stalking the forest with acidic saliva. So that's no good. But Maeve is an expert fighter. So let's see. This is a 7, so this is going to be a relatively difficult challenge. Maeve, let's see what skill makes the most sense here. I mean, I would think that combat would probably be make the most sense here. So with a 7, I mean, again, this is sort of the weird of this situation. A 7 plus the act modifier would be 3 is a 10. So based on this, I have 10 combat as my skill. And I mean, I think combat is not just thematically about fighting, but it's basically saying combat covers all melee and ranged fighting techniques and conveys the character's skillfulness and mastery in wielding weapons. Apart from fighting and attacking, you can use it to train others, strategize combat formations, and to intimidate opponents. And then combat is used for the attack value. So, I mean, thematically, I don't know what else would make sense here in terms of acid saliva dripping monsters. So I think I'm gonna go with combat here. And as I mentioned, since I have a 10 in combat, I think I automatically succeed, despite this being a 7 challenge. I'll draw a card for the heck of it because the rules tell me to, and I am a rule-bound person. I got a 4, so that's a total of 14 versus the challenge of 10. So I succeed in cutting down these mutated creatures with acidic saliva, apparently more easily than I fought off a few enraged boars. Yeah, I mean, again, with these sort of skill checks, I think it's a little bit more interesting, and this is just my personality perhaps, but like doing a combat situation or conflict just as kind of a skill check It's kind of weird because, you know, I don't take any damage. There's no consequence to it. But that would count as a success here. So we'll just go to the next one. Flip this over. Oh, I think we're still good. If you remember the weirdness effect that is here, because it would have gone away if I had activated the men here, but I did not. The weirdness effect in this area is this one, which is this one. That there's a ritual which has fog coming in that essentially when I get one of each card of it, one card of every suit in the play area, then I get -5 to all resolution rolls, which I think might even involve combat. I'd have to check. But, oh, and I wanted to show you the art for this one. This is the Ace of Pentacles. I think this is the first ace that I've drawn. But so far, I only have wands, cups, and pentacles. I'm missing the other one, whatever the other one is. I can check real quick. Swords. I have no swords out, so thankfully I haven't succumbed to the effects yet of the fog. But now I believe I have to do a combat here, which could be interesting. They're dangerous, they can put my life at risk, physical and mental damage, resolving is a multi-step process, 91. So, here we go. We're gonna go through combat. I guess this will take a little bit longer than I thought. So, got an ace here. I've only got 9 health. This could get a little bit hairy. I have a section here for combat events. So, if it's oh, wait a minute. Ace. I'm wrong. Ace is not a face card. Duh. Okay. Well, good. That means I don't have a combat. For some reason I thought Ace was a face card. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, let's go to see... Wait a minute. Ace 1 through 10. Right? There's 1 through 10. And there's the face cards, which are Jack, Queen, whatever. I'll do a quick search for Ace. If I can't figure this out, then I will have to look this up and maybe pause the video. Yeah, let me think about this a little bit. I'll have to look at the stats, because as you can see, what I'm struggling with here is the event tables only have 1 through 10, which you could definitely encounter here, unless Ace has some particular value of a 1 or something. Yeah, but and then it says face cards are page, knight, queen, and king. So I'm not sure what an ace stands for. Maybe it's a 1. Let me look through this tarot deck, and I'll come back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Those of you who play with playing cards or play other games may be thinking I'm dumb, not knowing what the value of an ace is, but looking through the rest of the tarot cards, I didn't see any 1s. I saw pretty much every other number, so since I don't know what to do with an ace, I'm going to count that as a 1. Again, others may be kind of screaming at the camera right now, or screaming at the screen, saying, of course an ace is a 1. But anyway, so that is 1 of coins. So this is a dangerous and unnatural fog rolls out from Grubwood, suffocating nearby regions. That's not good. And coins is many people die asphyxiated. Wow. Okay. So what would this mean? It says it rolls out from Grubwood, suffocating nearby regions, and many people die asphyxiated. So, you know, looking back at the map, there's the stampede up here, which I don't really know what's up here. It doesn't look like a lot of civilization. There's obviously like the tower back here, but 31 is where I'm heading, and that looks pretty clearly to be a some sort of town. So I have to think. I mean, that would seem to make sense to me. That essentially the fog that was gathering in here starts to spread out of the grubwood and starts sort of suffocating people in this region. Um, that's pretty upsetting. I try to think about what skill check that might involve. Um, I mean, I don't really have anything to do with that if the I'm in the grubwood right now. Perhaps maybe here I am on kind of the north side. Perhaps can kind of see out through the edge of the grubwood toward um, the town that I'm heading toward, the settlement, and I see that the fog starts going outward, and maybe I have some experience with the weirdness before, and I recognize that that fog might be deadly to folks. And so it's kind of obviously upsetting to Maeve because Maeve is coming through the forest, trying, her main goal is to go to that settlement to try to, really short-term goal, try to help people. And so seeing that the fog is spreading out toward them without being able to do anything would seem like it would be an inspiration check to me. There's not much else. I mean, I could see like maybe travel. Let me look up travel. I haven't seen what travel means, but I assume that's kind of like dealing with kind of travel events and such. Travel, craft is making stuff. Travel is knowledge and techniques used for traveling and outdoor activities. Intuit directions, avoid getting lost, find shelters, read a map. Yeah. So I don't think that relates to this unless I wanted to say that like the fog was leading me to get lost, but this is more about the fog's already there. It's just going out and hurting this town. So yeah, I'm going to go with inspiration again and say that this is her trying to increase morale and sort of push herself to get over there and help people. So this is a 1, and Maeve's inspiration I think is actually quite good, an 8. So I do have to draw here because I could hypothetically fail. No, I'm wrong. The difficulty is 4. So this is an automatic success. Again, it seems like just if you have certain good stats, it's either like an automatic failure or automatic success, which I don't know how I feel about that yet. But so we will say that, Maeve is able to sort of inspire herself to not lose hope and just uses this as further motivation to kind of find her way out of the forest and get over to people to help them out. So she succeeds at that challenge. She does have to go, it looks like she has to go south here. We'll say that she kind of is trying to find a way out of the forest. She sees kind of like an opening down this direction to get out toward the settlement. So she goes south. And we have, oh, there we go. There's the queen. So that is definitely a face card. Queen of Wands. So now we're going to have an actual combat. Let's do it. So the combat, I was just on that earlier. Combat events. So we got a queen. We have to first determine the creature type, and then we'll see some information. And then, yeah, we do all the rest of the stuff. So creature type. Oh, this does depend on the weirdness. So we are weirdness level 3. We have the Queen of Wands. Thankfully, no swords. So Queen of Wands, a 4-dweller. Interesting. Huh. Okay, let's see what it says about 4-dwellers. So 4-dweller, corrupted giant, scarlet worm. Where is 4-dweller? Oh, there it is. 4-dwellers are 9-foot 4-armed warriors from Tuathan, sworn to humanity's destruction, clad in iridescent armor and masks that pierce the weirdness. They are formidable foes, capable of overpowering entire groups, including legendary knights. That does not sound good for me. Found in groups of 3 to 10, they wield ancient blades and unmatched strength. Interesting. So this is, if there's an active menhir in the current territory, they get a -2 penalty to attack. Unfortunately, I didn't activate that menhir back there. Looks like before combat, you remove the movement card from the fighting stance deck, so they will not flee. And they get a +1 bonus to their attack and defense. Once they get down to 10 health, then they may flee again. and they get a +1 bonus. They lose the +1 bonus. So they have a special ability in rounds 1, 3, and 5 if their stance is not movement, which that's sort of a weird thing to say because in round 1, I guess if you took them down by 15 in round 1, if the creature's stance is not movement, they make 2 attacks instead of 1. Okay, could be bad for us, peeps. They do 10 damage. They have 2 medium treasures. They do 3 damage. Did I do this wrong before? Because when I was being attacked, I took that they, like, you know, the boar, for example, their attack was significantly over my defense. And when you're attacking, the amount of attack that you have over their defense is the amount of damage you do. But I see this as damage 2, damage 3. Just look really quick about combat and see what it says about the creature's turn. If it hits you, reduce your health by the amount of damage inflicted. See, this is a little bit confusing. Make an attack. If it hits, reduce its health by the amount of damage inflicted. You'll notice it has these indicate it won't. It says much the same way as your character: health, defense, combat, potential, attack, and damage. So if I look at my character, I don't have a damage stat. I have attack and defense, and it clearly says in sort of the combat section that you calculate your attack, and then if the amount of damage inflicted equals the difference between attack and defense. So I'm going to pause real quick and look through this. It seems strange. I just assumed that monsters fought the same way, but they have a damage stat. Let me look. Okay, so thinking about it for a second, yeah, the normal formula for attack is combativeness plus combat plus fighting stance plus weapon damage plus 1d10. So you add your weapon damage to attacks. Like I have a bale hook that does 1 damage. So maybe that's what damage does for enemy. They go through the same process, but then they add their damage to the attack. I don't know if that's super clear. Combativeness plus combat skill. Combativeness plus combat. So actually, I think I even got my attack wrong here because my combat skill. Oh no, that's what this is. That my skill is 5. Actually, I don't know if you can see this here, but it says 4 plus, and then they have 5 things marked off here, and it says equals 10. There's quite a few little errors in here. I should make a note of that one. Anyway, I'll just go with what it seems like. So there's a few things that don't seem 100% clear to me, but it does seem like I'm going to go with that they add their damage to the damage that they do. So like the enraged beast has a damage of 2. The plagued has a damage of 0, so that seems to imply to me that they don't just do 0 damage to it, that they would add 0 to their attack. So yeah, the $4 is going to add 3 to each of his attacks, which is no good. So I need to figure out how to flee here, because that's not going to be, I'm not going to do this. So if I choose this option, you immediately escape from combat, forfeit any potential treasure, and are immediately at risk of sustaining a setback. Okay, so it says I can just leave. There's no check or anything, but it does say some special conditions and abilities prevent you from using this action or until you've made a resolution roll, but I didn't see anything about that. So results of combat. If you escape combat at any point, this event counts as a failure, and I'm at risk of sustaining a medium setback. Interesting. It says I'm at risk of sustaining a medium setback. So this is the last encounter here. So maybe I'll just end this. Essentially, on her way out of the forest, Maeve ran into a four dweller, or even a group of four dwellers, which are huge, burly dudes. She's a somewhat skilled fighter, but couldn't handle that. So just decided to get out of there. And that may cause me to have a medium setback. I'm going to, go through the after song stuff after this and calculate setbacks anyways based on my number of failures. So that may just give me an additional medium setback. In any case, this was not a great run through the forest. Hopefully, if I continue going, me finally reaching the settlement will go a little bit better. But I will call that enough for now. Thanks y'all for watching. Okay, I lied. I figured out when it says you're at risk of doing a setback, it always says that. So essentially I do have to do a medium setback here for trying to run away from the four dwellers. So I figured since this is part of the conflict, I will finish this one out. So let me draw a d10 here. Let's see what we get. These cards are PVC, which means they are super slippery. So I got a 3, which is a wound -2. That is somewhat thematic. So this is your run-of-the-mill setback, a cut, an arrow to the knee, lol, or concussion. You lose the indicated amount of health. Okay. So I lost 2 health. That is much better than that could have gone. So essentially, probably she bumped into this group of four dwellers in the midst of the forest, and despite immediately trying to turn and run, one of them got a good clean cut on her back as she was turning to flee, and she took 2 damage. So I will erase 2. Actually, the way that this works is that you add health damage here. So, right. I will do this off camera because sometimes my pen does not like to write. Well, maybe I'll do it here. 2 health damage. There we go. Okay. So that was the end. There was the minor setbacks. Next will be doing the end of song stuff.